A nigga like me, man, I love the game. I love the hustle, man. I be feeling like one of them ball-playing niggas, you know? Like Bird or Magic or something. Yeah, you know, a nigga got dough. A nigga could leave the league. But if I leave, the fans still gonna love me, man? I get love out here in Harlem, man. I done sold coke on these streets, man. Hash, weed, heroin. As long as niggas is feeling it, a nigga like me can hustle it. That's my gift in life, eh? You know? What? The fuck you laughing at, B?
You, man. Funny, man. You a hustling motherfucker, man. For real, baby. You fucking killing me, man.
Well, you know me, baby.
What's up, y'all? I wanted to, I guess, kind of come and do this little video right quick. I'm a thinker, man. I like to think, you know? And one of the biggest things that I've been thinking about lately is, you know, well, what I guess is a subject I'm always thinking about is our people and what we go through in this country, how we can improve our situation, just, you know, a lot of different things that I think that could help us in the long run. So what you're looking at now is the basic definition, or not necessarily definition, I'm sorry, the etymology of the word picnic. Now, if you're not familiar with it, the word picnic is often quoted as or used on different memes and things like that. I saw something this morning where a guy posted something and it said that the word picnic is derived from pick a nigga, which means basically during the Reconstruction and Jim Crow era in the South and certain parts of the country, they would literally just pick a black person or nigger, and take them and, you know, string them up and kill them. And they sit there and cook a hog, and, you know, they'll just sit there and laugh and talk, and it'll just be a festive occasion, you know. And this is one thing I will admit, that's true. They did pick us, and just they'll hang a nigga for all types of reasons. And when it would usually be a festive occasion, they would take pictures. I mean, this is well documented. But the reason that I have the etymology of the word picnic up here is to point something out. If you can read, it says the first usage of the word is traced to the 1692 edition of Tony Willis. I'm not even gonna try to, you know, origin de language française. I don't know. I'm sorry, I'm terrible with French, but which mentions picnic as being of recent origin. So basically, they're saying that the word was probably recently around 1692, maybe predating it a couple of years, 1650 on up, whatever. Recent origin, saying that the word is basically coming from the 1600s. Now, why am I saying that? Because when we call something as black people, when we get a hold of something, it's not about facts for a lot of us. Sometimes it's just about a narrative. You know, it's about painting a picture. Even if, you know, facts be damned. You know, it doesn't make a difference if you're telling someone something and it has no factual, you know, evidence to back what you're saying. And that's our problem as black people. A lot of times we tend to throw facts to damned a lot of times and just call people coons and call people names and just assume that, hey, you know, this person doesn't have any, you know, this person's stupid. I'm gonna tell you something. I got a video I put up about the Jews, right? I'm gonna go ahead and say this. One part of that I said Walt Disney was a Jew, which I was erroneous. That was incorrect, right? Kill me. I was freestyling, okay? Walt Disney is not a Jew. Walt Disney had a lot of Jews who drew for him, artists who drew these different, Snow White, all these were Jewish artists. They were the ones that put that stuff in there. And Walt Disney has a lot of Jewish, backing, and he dealt with a lot of Jews, spent a lot of money on their different organizations. That's neither here nor there. The reason I'm saying this is because when I did that video, pretty much most of what I said, 99% outside of what I just told you in that video is factually based. I can pretty much base 99% of what I was saying on facts. The point I'm trying to make is that we as black people, we'll come on a post, right? Or we'll come on a video and we'll just make a comment and call somebody a name. Or see, let me tell you something about me. If I don't like your shit, I ain't watching your shit. If I don't like you, I'm not subscribing to your motherfucking channel. That's just me. I ain't got time to be running my blood pressure up with stupid people. I don't. If you making a point, and if I feel like I don't like you, or you somebody I really don't subscribe to, I don't subscribe to your shit. I don't unsubscribe to a lot of people that I used to rock with until they said or did something that I didn't like, then boom, I was gone. I'm not monetizing this channel, so for me, it's not even about how many people I got subscribed. It's about me trying to, disseminate. I guess not disseminate. Put out as much information as I can. Okay, now I'm about to show y'all a clip. This is a video from the movie Selma, and the guy is talking strategy. And I'm gonna get into another point about critical thinking and about disseminating, I guess working your way through information, just trying to learn, what is the best way. And I'm gonna talk about power and how it's obtained and how it's maintained and things like that. Because without understanding power, you can't really understand what I'm getting at on this channel and why I say the things I say. Because it's much more complex than just being a coon, as some people would simplify. But check this out right here, and then I'll come back with my commentary. Okay, that clip was from the movie Selma. I told you I'd come back and give you my commentary. Now, I know that it's kind of poor quality. I recorded it on my phone because I couldn't find it on YouTube. But the point I'm trying to make in showing that clip was two different types of ideology being on display. One guy wanted to make a knee-jerk reaction without thinking, without looking at his surroundings, and without really knowing, or even guesstimating or trying to understand what would be the outcome of this particular action, right? So when I make this point, what I'm trying to say is I want you to understand that power operates a certain way. What you're looking at right now, I'm sure you can read. If it's small, if you're watching on a phone or whatever, this is the definition of the word critical thinking, which is a compound word. Basically, it means it's objective analysis of facts to form a judgment. Objective analysis, not subjective. Objective. The subject is complex, and there are several different definitions which generally include the rational, skeptical, unbiased analysis or evaluation of factual evidence. So what he's saying is, what they're saying in this definition is, irregardless of facts, I mean, irregardless of how I may feel, I'm looking at this particular situation, and I'm making a decision based on the analysis of the information or factual evidence, as they put it. So when you have critical thinking, you think things through logic. Now the problem is this: I've said in a couple of videos, "Hey man, you got to play the game. You got to play the game," and I was attacked for that. But I'm going to show you guys in a second what I mean by playing the game, because whether you like it or not, you're in the game. You're playing the game, whether you want to or not. Now you could try to be, you could try to be an individual that says, you know what, I don't have to play the game. White supremacy this, racism that. You can say what you want to say, but just existing in America, trying to function and live and make and carve out a living for oneself in America, puts you in the game. You're gonna get a job. You're gonna, most of the time, over 90% of the time, you're either gonna have a job. Even if you have a business, you have to operate a certain way. Black people do not understand power. It is that simple. What do I mean by that? Is we'll make a knee-jerk reaction. We're like that guy who wants to take the gun like the guy did over at the Edmund Pettus Bridge and just go shoot. You know, and a lot of these conscious guys, they'll make little comments like, you know, F these crackers, we need to do this, we need to do that. And I may feel the same way. And see that guy who actually is an actor who was portraying Andrew, I think that's Andrew Young. The guy was acting and he was portraying him, and he was saying, look, I understand where you're coming from. I understand. I feel the same way. However, I want to let's think this through. We got a bunch of older, elderly people. They're going to lose their lives. They're going to die. A lot of children. I mean, it was kids. If you're really familiar with the movie, it was kids, women, children walking over that bridge. So if you take a gun and get to shooting at these cops, they just go unload. And they're going to kill a bunch of kids, He said that's not the intelligent way. Let's think there's another way to win. See, when you come to my channel and you hear me talking about playing the game, when you hear me talking about, standing for the national anthem, play the game, get as much money as you can, I'm not saying get the money and go spend it on some strippers or go buy a bunch of cars and live a high-end life. What I'm saying is get that money and build a legacy for yourself. Build a legacy for your people. Go out and defend, basically it'll put you in a position to be able to defend yourself. Case in point, look at O.J. Simpson. They had racist cops trying to frame him like Mark Furman, and they tried their best to frame him, and O.J. Simpson still got off because he had the means and finances to be able to do it. See, what they took for granted, they thought O.J. was going to be like the typical nigga that makes it to the NFL, gets a bunch of baby mamas, marries a white girl. They thought O.J. was broke. OJ still had money. OJ was intelligent in how he operated with his expenses. So what I'm telling you is, do not, under any circumstances, think that you have to, operate a certain way because it's the cool, quote unquote, conscious thing to do. Sometimes being conscious may mean keeping your mouth shut. And I'm just going to go through a few of the laws of power. A guy wrote a book by the name of Robert Greene. He wrote a book called The 48 Laws of Power. I'm going to go through the certain laws, and I'm going to explain how they're used and what they mean. Now, first, I'm going to go through the guy. And if you don't understand the game, this is the game. The game we're living up under right now is basically outlined in a book by a guy named Niccolo Machiavelli called The Prince. I did this in my very second video called Political Atheist. And if you haven't checked that video out, go check it out. It's my very second video. But in Political Atheist, I outline what and how we as blacks need to operate in this country. But if you don't understand the game, you need to first understand who you're playing against. What we do a lot of times is we play chess. Chess is a more simplistic game. We operate off emotions and instinct. You'll always lose when you operate off emotions and instinct. You can easily be manipulated because you're quote unquote angry over racism and white supremacy. I'm angry too. But the thing is how you operate, what you do. There's a way things ought to be that seems to be fair, Like Colin Kaepernick should be able to wear his hair like he wants and not stand, and it's a country based on certain rules. That's fair. Then there's a way that you have to operate also in understanding that people own these teams and a lot of these people are racist. So check this thing out right here and then I'll come back.
To decide what he wants to do with that information. How we live is so different from how we ought to live that he who studies what ought to be done rather than what is done will learn the way to his downfall rather than to his preservation.
All right, that's the first principle about about basically what Machiavelli is about. Machiavelli is saying, hey, this is the way it is, and this is the way that's fair and what you would probably think it should be. But if you try to operate off what should be, you're gonna wind up going to ruin because you're not really taking into effect the conditions on the ground as they are. Sometimes we're very what is the word? I don't know. We're very abstract in our thinking. For example, a friend of mine from high school sent me a clip of older guy talking to Sarnetta yesterday. And the guy really didn't say nothing. He said, we don't know who we are. We need to understand who we are. He just sitting up there talking and, he's catering to the crowd. You could tell he's really speaking to get a bunch of pats on the back or a bunch of people. Yeah, man. See, he understands. He's in the know. Well, yeah, but I didn't. If I'm 20 years old and I'm watching this older guy talk, I didn't see anything I could say, oh, well, after talking to him, I'm going to go do this. After talking to him, I'm going to go do that. I mean, of course, the typical don't go to church mantra was going in there. Don't be a Christian type stuff. That's one of the big hallmarks of being conscious. You can't go to church. You got to forget all the church history where the church did a lot of great things. You got to act like that never happened, right? But the whole thing with that whole mantra where this older gentleman was talking it wasn't about really getting anywhere per se. It was just about trying to show, I guess he was just being fed up and saying that certain generations dropped the ball. Now that's where I'll agree with it. Certain generations dropped the ball. We as black people have not really understood certain things, but there's also a certain level of complexity I wouldn't even say complexity. There's also a certain level of just simplicity, I would say, that blacks need to understand certain things. Number one, look, if you don't own certain things, you don't make the rules, right? So that doesn't mean that I'm cooning if I say, okay, I don't make the rules, I don't own something, so I need to operate under this capacity at this particular time for this amount of time until I can get myself in a position where I can call the shots. I heard, I'm going to tell you something. One of the comments that I kept seeing under that other video about Michael Vick versus Colin Kaepernick was, we're cooning for dollars, or, when are we going to stand up and be real men? Well, this is the question I want to ask. You can't stand up. I ain't going to say you need to wear a monkey suit and eat bananas, okay? I'm not saying that. I'm not saying be a coon to the 1000th degree. But it's real funny sometimes. Like I was watching this guy, Chronicles of Judah. He has a channel, Chronicles of Judah 444 or whatever. I think that's his channel, Chronicles of Judah 44. And he talked about the hypocrisy of people wearing, like the guy Michael Smith from ESPN and Shannon Sharp. They up there in 3-piece suits, Rob Parker, and they up there talking about, look, you should be able to do what you want to do. This is like, but your ass got on a European. Suits are from Europe, people. If you wear a suit and tie, that is a European outfit. So you are assimilating when you put on a suit and tie. Okay? When you put on certain outfits, we just don't. It's so assimilated into our culture. We as black people are not even aware that we're actually wearing a European garb when we put on a suit and tie or a 3-piece suit. But that white people, that's their uniform. We don't wear dashikis to work. We don't wear what's the Japanese play? I think it's kimono, whatever those things are they wear. We don't wear those to work. We wear why? Because right now European culture is dominating the world right now. So to sit and say, okay, they own 90% of the wealth. But as soon as, this is the thing now, as soon as I, as a black man, say, hey, man, we need to focus on wealth. We need to focus on building money. We need to play the game for a while, for a season, until we can get money, live on less. See, because one of our biggest weaknesses, and one of the rules of Machiavelli is know a person's weakness. I'm going to find that and put that in here.
Law number 33. Discover each man's thumbscrew. Cardinal Richelieu would find out the weaknesses of everyone around him, then worked on it by being useful to them until they were of no use to him. One by one, he worked his way up to the king, who at the time was a mere child. Know the weak spots of your opponents, the crack in their defense, and you will know what to work with when you need it. In reverse, do not betray your own weaknesses.
So as you can see, that is one of the key, understandings of how power works. Great example again, O.J. Simpson. I mean, O.J. played to their ideas about black people. You see, O.J. played the big black buck game to its core. He was athletic. He's from USC. And he had them let their guard down because O.J., he said, I'm not black, I'm O.J. And a lot of people in white America accepted him early in the 70s. Go back and look at him on IMDb or whatever, and look at all the movies he's done. Look at all the different things he had done. He was on, he used to do a lot of NFL games. He was doing the Naked Gun movies. O.J. Simpson is the quintessential, guy, non-threatening black guy, right? Now, what I'm not doing is painting the picture that O.J. Simpson was conscious. And then, no, what I'm saying is O.J. Simpson played the game, got them to let their guards down, and then when they were pissed at him, he used their own money that he had basically amassed from working within their system to defeat them. And there was nothing they can do, and that's why they hate this guy to this day. Now, they did stick it to him eventually and get him locked up, but now he's out, and he's getting millions of dollars. They can't touch his pension. Now they're saying he's getting an extra $5,000 or $6,000 from his Screen Actors Guild pension. They can't touch that. That's another $5,000 or $6,000 a month. This guy is living high on the hog, basically finna live a good life if he makes it out of jail. But what I'm saying is, he played the game. He played the game and came out on top. Just understanding how things work is such an intelligent decision to do. See, a smart move would be, I'm going to go in, get them to let their guard down. They're going to trust me, think I'm non-threatening. I'm not going to let them know my intentions. And I'm going to extract all this wealth. And when they find out who I really am, it's too late. That's intelligent. That's smart. That's understanding the game and playing it to your benefit. That's just like a strategy in chess where, a guy's coming, he thinks he has you, and then all of a sudden, he didn't understand that you were 3 or 4 moves ahead. And so he's like, damn, this dude is thinking 7, 8 moves ahead. They say the average chess guy is thinking 5, 6 moves, 8 moves ahead sometimes. The best people that play chess. And then sometimes there have been times where people will look at a chessboard and think, man, you're defeated. And the person will look at him and say, no, I'm not. You really hadn't thought this through. And the guys, no, I won. And then they'll say, here. And then the guy will sit there and explain, say, no, the reason you're losing is because when you make this move, I'm going to make this move. When you make this move, I'm going to make this move. When you make this move, I'm going to make. You go all the way out 8 moves, and the person's losing. And the funny thing is, they suck you in and let you think that you really have a chance. I don't even know how to play chess. Go see the movie Queen and Catway with Lupita and the guy David Oyelowo, or whatever his name. Go check it out. Queen and Catway. Watch how they would be 5 and 6 moves ahead. That's the genius of it. Now, the funny thing about it is it would be foolish to stick to a certain plan if things on the ground change, if conditions change. You have to be willing to adapt. If you refuse to adapt, you're gonna go the way of the dinosaur. And so, making emotional decisions without thinking, it's just not intelligent. I got another principle I want you guys to check out. Check this one out. I'll be right back.
Courage. Be bold. Law number 29. Plan all the way to the end. Excerpt from the book. The gods on Mount Olympus, looking down on human actions from the clouds, they see in advance the endings of all great dreams that lead to disaster and tragedy, and they laugh at our inability to see beyond the moment, and at how we delude ourselves. Before you take action, consider the possible outcomes and consequences, calculate the risk, then execute if it's worth doing. However, as time goes on, things reform, and it would be foolish to stick to a plan that ignores change.
I mean, therein is another principle that, you know, we need to make plans. We need to be well thought out. We need to be, you know, I guess, what's the word? Basically, we need to understand, you know, our enemy. We need to be well thought out, and we need to have plans so that when a situation arises, we're prepared for it. You know, it's a lot of other principles, you know, and I want to add another principle on here. I just want you guys to really, I'm going to go through this just to really bring my point home that this is the game that is being basically ran on us. When I say game, I mean literally. When you go to Washington, D.C., they have a statue of Machiavelli. They don't tell you this, but that's who the politicians look at. Now, the problem with Machiavelli's book, The Prince, in it says lie, cheat, steal, do whatever you have to do to win, to get whatever you need. Nothing sacred. Tell people what they want to hear. You know, for example, if you go through a video, if you have a video on YouTube of Kim Kardashian's ass, he said, you know, basically more people will click on that than they will click on, I don't know, a video talking about how to make money. Basically say because people want to hear certain things, they'll say what's right, but then they'll try to live a completely different opposite way. Therein, that's why all the ratchetry gets so much play in our community. But here's another video. Check it out.
Law number 11. Learn to keep people dependent on you. Otto von Bismarck led the king's hand in uniting a mighty Prussia. None other than Bismarck was able to do so. He proved himself to be an indispensable asset and had his strong position secured. Be the only one who can do what you do, or see yourself replaced in fear soon.
Now this is probably, I'm gonna make this my final point, but that is probably by far the most powerful point in this video that I can probably make. You see, that is, you know, and I'm not trying to make people be Republican or Democrat, but that's the game they run on us because we are mostly Democrats, so I have to speak to that. But that's the game. You never empower someone where they don't need you. You see that? Give them a few dollars here and there, and they'll be loyal because you're giving them they need you. But if you give them too much, they don't need you. So if you're black and I want your votes, I'll come out and say, hey, I'm gonna give you Section 8, welfare, food stamps, Obamacare, whatever I need to give you. I'm gonna act like I'm for the little guy, but I'm not gonna give you businesses. I'm not gonna give you assets. I'm not. Look, I'll even give you an education, because an education is not something that can be passed down to the next generation. I'll even let you get a job. Get a job. Most people, because see, one of the principles that you got to understand is going back to the other video, knowing your your opponent's weakness. They prey on black people's conspicuous consumption. They prey on it. Most people that come into the black community understand when the Koreans, they understand black women spending thousands of dollars on their hair, or they wouldn't sell $1,000 hair because it wouldn't be what they'll know. I'm not gonna get my return on investment when I sell this hair, so they wouldn't buy it. They would sell $10 hair, but they sell $500, $600, $700, $800 hair because they know our weak point. They know the black person is going to spend every dollar that they have. Therein, when they know our weakness, we'll never be able to really become independent and go over the other principle, which is, you know, hey, if I work for you and you pay me, like I'm talking about IT, I'm trying to get some people into IT, right? If I give you $65, $70 an hour and you spend $65, $70 an hour every week, you spend your whole $3,000 check every week or whatever, $2,800 check, then I got you. I got you right where I want you. If you work at my job, if I own the company and you pull up in a car that looks better than mine, yet I'm making 3 to 5 times more than you for every hour you work, plus I got 10 other guys and I'm making the same amount off each one of them, then I got you right where I want you. So I'm talking about power. Power, wealth, and influence is what Dr. Claude Anderson talks about. So I'm talking about power. I've always talked about wealth, and of course you can have influence once you have wealth and power. But first we need to understand power. See, there's a way power operates. The thing with Colin Kaepernick, and this is the end of my video, the thing with Colin Kaepernick that he didn't understand was he was standing on the shoulders of white Jewish wealth and power. Looking to white America in the face and telling them what they need to do and how they're wrong and they're immoral, even though he was right. He was. I'm not stupid. He's right. They shouldn't be killing black people. They shouldn't be. There's a lot of oppression going on to black people. Prison, school to prison pipeline. A lot of different things we could talk about. But in all actuality, you cannot. And I heard it said, you can't be a revolutionary if you got to pay bills. If you got bills, that's a weakness. And I know everybody has bills, but what I mean is, if you have bills that you cannot perpetually pay from independently owned sources, wealth, land, property, real estate, things of that nature, then you're really not free. You're not free to really look that guy in the face and say, hey man, that's racist. Hey man, that wasn't right. Because you're not free because you got to pay your bills. So when I talk about this power and you look at this video, understand that's why I put this stuff in here. Because your opponent, that's their rule book. The Prince, 48 Laws of Power. That's why I got this on here. Sun Tzu, Art of War. Understand, be close to your enemy. Study your enemy. When people say keep your friends close and your enemies closer, that's Sun Tzu, Art of War, man. I'm not telling you this stuff because this is stuff that's been done, tried and true for thousands of years, hundreds of years at least. So when I say what I'm saying, I'm not coming from a place of coonery. I'm coming from a place of understanding the ebb and flow of how things, at least trying to become a student of tact. All black people should be tacticians, man. We should study tactics. We should study strategy. One of the biggest things I learned, I think it was, I was in school. I had this teacher, man. He was a great teacher. He would sit and draw the battlefield and show us how guys won. Well, he really loved military strategy. You have to understand, study military strategy, study those types of things. And then when someone starts talking and you listen to these people on YouTube, it by sheer fact that you went and studied all this stuff, you'll stop becoming such a, so much of the coon police, and you'll start saying, well, wait a minute. I heard what the brother said. I mean, I don't agree with everything. And yeah, I was just talking to one of my homeboys. He said, yeah, I got a coon radar that goes off a little bit when I listen to Jason Whitlock. But everything Jason Whitlock says isn't just coonery. Some of it is real. So we need to, really chill out on that. And what I mean by chill out is, look, I can listen to anybody if they're making a logic. If your position is based on facts, logic, figures, then, I can listen. I don't have to agree. I don't have to adhere. But I can listen. So there's no end game for a lot of moves we make a lot of times as blacks. I'm going to go out here and march and protest because you have a Confederate flag. That's the end game, get the damn flag down? Shit, I mean, what's that going to do? They're still going to own everything. They're still going to kill us. They're still going to... See, me, my thing is know your enemy. And it talks about know your enemy, because if you know your enemy, you know their strengths and you know their weaknesses. If you know, when I had AJ Simmons on here, he talked about, getting the business and making all these thousands of dollars. And, some of these people are making almost $1 million a year. Said a beautiful thing about it. A lot of times people expect you to not make any money. They expect you to be the lowly nigger clean, So you use their arrogance against them. That's their weakness. to think that you're inferior. When you play me for a shorty, so to speak, when you play me like I'm stupid and dumb, that's your thumb. That's you know, whatever he called it. That's your weakness. That's it. So once I know that you think you better than me, I'll play to your arrogance. It's chess, man. I'm not a coon because I know that you think I'm a nigga, a dumb nigga. But let me clean up for you. Let me go get a janitorial service and clean up, or let me start a lawn service or a car wash. And these white folks will pay you hundreds of dollars to do stuff, and you make an ass out of it. And you next thing you know, you worth millions of dollars because you run a major janitorial service or a major. You know how many black people have made a killing cutting grass? I know a bunch of black brothers back in the day when I was growing up that was making thousands of dollars a week just cutting grass, man. Real talk. So a lot of times you can let someone think you just a big, like OJ, like with OJ, they thought he's a dumb nigga, you know, that dumb athlete. But he can speak a little bit. He transcends the race. Let's put him here. Let's put him there. And OJ didn't have them weaknesses that they thought he had. OJ didn't have them bad spending habits. So when OJ got in trouble, he had enough money to win. This is about chess, man. This whole video is about chess. So that's it. Thank y'all. Love everybody, man. Love y'all for listening. I got my barbecue music on. I get me a couple of shots of Absolute sometime when I get on here. And I just get to talking, man. So y'all bear with me. But I appreciate everything, man. I appreciate my subscribership. Share the videos. Comment. Send me emails. I'm definitely trying my best to get as many people. I literally just got finished with the Salesforce class. And for those of you that don't know, if you're a new subscriber, go and look at those Salesforce titled videos I have, or videos about IT, making $85,000, why black people should make that much money. Because in those videos, I'm basically detailing what you need to do step by step so that you can get these jobs in these positions, wearing your quote unquote European suit or whatever you want to call it, and taking that money and using it to empower yourself. You can empower yourself if you're making $150,000. You can empower yourself a lot faster than you can if you work. You working anyway. You might as well work smarter, not harder. You're gonna work anyway. If you're working at a company, you're not selling out to go into IT. So what? You got to wear slacks and a button down. That's the only difference. You wearing a uniform anyway 9 times out of 10 at work. Unless you own your own business. Now, if you own your own business, then more power to you, because that's the end goal. So thank you. Love everybody. Have a good night.